Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good in communities everywhere. We understand that shopping is a necessity, but with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference without spending any extra money. Here's how it works. Please visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, which are trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any of the partners that resonate with you. Click a picture of the receipt or invoice, then pick the mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send the receipt directly to us. After that, all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchases, knowing that you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing the story of those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her life, left at night.
Easy to see that I forgot to download the clean edited version of the intro, so that's always nice to know. Everybody, Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. Very special day for me personally. Today is the 10-year anniversary of the accident. It's crazy to think that 10 years ago today, I was helping to set up for a 50th year anniversary of an establishment that I just loved. And, then we're about 6 hours away from when my life changed completely. And so this is really one of those days. It's really quite a day for reflection and trying to take and look back. It's a day of remembering, because there are so many people that so many things that have changed, so many people that I've lost, dear friends that are no longer with us. And it's really, it kind of puts it into perspective how quickly 10 years goes. We've all said it, it took forever to get to 21. And then after 21, I was 60, it's kind of the way it feels. And I'll tell you this last 10 years has, There's been certain days that one day seemed like it lasted for 7, but this 10 years has only lasted for about a week and a half. So it's definitely pretty interesting. But I want to go on ahead and bring on the man of the hour right now, because he's got something brand new working. He's got something brand new going, and we're really excited about this because there is something in this for everyone who's out there listening right now. And this is a lot different than any of his other programs. So before I try to butcher it, I want to bring in the man, the myth, the Les, Mr. Les Simpson. How you doing, buddy?
The myth, huh? No, that's a new one.
There you go. There you go. How you doing, Les?
I'm doing great. The yeah, helping a lot of people out this way, and excited to let everybody know about the opportunities for this for every business person.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to bring up, before we get started, is this isn't just for businesses. This is for nonprofits. This is something that anybody in the business world can use. Correct?
That's correct. As long as they are nonprofit, any nonprofit, as long as they're established and know what they're doing. And I'll give an example that what we don't need, but any business that are serving businesses or professionals.
All right. Well, why don't you go on ahead and get us started, and then we're going to watch a little bit of a video,
Sure.
and then you're going to get into telling us about this. This is all about a program that you has been built on one of the greatest business formats out there, LinkedIn.
Yes, that is the source. First off, if everybody wanted to go to Amazon, they could download a book called Cracking the Learning Code by J.W. Wilson. Now, the learning code has been studied by universities for 30 years because what universities have been trying to figure out is how people learn, how the neurology of their brain actually wants to get involved in something. Because unfortunately, most messages these days are like pounding with a sledgehammer on a person's head and saying, let me in. And the learning code actually connects with the person emotionally, hormonally, and everything, and says, hey, that's me. This is who I really want to get involved with. Tell me more. And that's what it's all about. And what we do, and I'm going to show a video in here in a second, is for $1,000 a month for a nonprofit or a business, we go out and we find your ideal client. And this is what this video is going to show. And then we find out if this is the time in their life that they're really wanting to do this. And if they are, then we apply the learning code to connect with them, and they wake up, and then we educate them and we follow up. And then when we introduce them to you, they're 90% ready to go. In fact, it's just like if we're sitting in a restaurant and a person came to you and says, I've heard you're the top in the industry. I hear you really know what the heck you're doing. And I want to sit down with you and talk to you about it, taking over our accounts. And if you had that to happen 8 times a month, how would that help your business? And so let's go ahead and play this 3-minute video, and it'll show you how we use LinkedIn technology to start the process.
Okay, that sounds great. Great. Please remember, anybody, you can text me any questions, 970-909-0751. Once again, that's 970-909-0751. Or just use your little comments button right there on your screen, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, or YouTube. I didn't forget you, YouTube. I promise I'm just slow today. but just type in a comment. It'll come to us and we can ask Les any questions that you have. So utilize this. Let's come on, small businesses. This is a chance to turn LinkedIn into the huge tool it needs to be in the business world.
Here we are inside of my account for a little demo of how this goes. So basically, you want to understand this is the safest basically platform for LinkedIn lead gen. The reason why is because it's a cloud option instead of Google Chrome one, which basically makes sure there's no strike possible whatsoever. And what we do is very simple. It's a search combined with a world-class campaign. So for a search, we can do it directly on the linking, basically basic profile. If we can have sales navigators, it's even better. So the search goes this way. Let's say you want to meet with CEO, just as an example. We always want to be as close as possible to our target audience. So let's say that they are a second degree to myself, second and first degree. As you can see here, the number is still about 2 million. So we're way too big. One thing you want to also make sure of is these posts on LinkedIn. That way we know they are active. And then basically a bunch of requirements that might be proper to your business. So for example, industry. Let's say that we're tackling medical, just as an example right here. So if we type in medical, let's go with medical practices. What we typically want from a list is a list of typically a few thousand. It's way better to have a few thousand targeted like this one, 6,000, than having way too many people for no reasons. So obviously profile language, let's just stick to English for now. That will change slightly. Yeah. So because of that, now we do have a basic search, which obviously will get way more ingrained if you're on our paid program, and we export this search directly into our software. Once we have this search into our software, then what we do is that we build a world-class campaigns with it. So the way we build a campaign is with biological preferences. So biological preferences is one thing that only CoreCentric can leverage. It's a tool in which we use the human brain in order to maximize engagement. So the way we do it is very simple. Based on the biological preferences, what we know is that we can tie this in to directly in industry, gender, demographically speaking. So we take all of that and we create a world-class sequence of a 4 to 5 message, which is a drip sequence. And from that drip sequence, we combine the two with a targeted audience to make the dream happen. As you can see here on my screen, we never get below high 30s in the connection rates, which is just incredible. I don't know if you can imagine, but if we send 100 connection requests per week, those are targeted. Those are all potential customers. If 40 of those basically are interested in communicating with you back and forth, well, that's 40 cold lead, typically with a 20% conversion rate. That will be 8 very strong, warm, high-ticket leads per week. And we combine all these things into also providing you with a bi-weekly reporting of all the stats, making sure we're extremely transparent towards that. But most importantly, also, if you go with the premium option, you'll get a full-time conversation manager on your account to make sure that not only is this process is dealt by experts, but also overall just streamlined by an expert that will make sure that not only did they get on the calendar, but they know why they're there and they're ready to buy. And that's why it's not only so popular, but we can guarantee to be ROI positive in 90 days. So yeah, if that sounds exciting, I'm looking forward to welcoming you in the family.
All right, that was a lot of information, and you might want to let people know who that individual was that is talking, because a lot of us in the business world will recognize the name.
Sam Pepin. And just to let everybody know, he started in business when he was 16. And the reason he started in business, 2 reasons. One, he lives in Canada, and he was on a soccer team, and he had a serious injury. He was in the hospital for 3 months, and he had no idea what he was going to do because he was so broken up. And he had been told, and by the way, he graduated from college at 16. And but he didn't know what he was going to do, and so he thought he'd go into marketing, because if you're a salesperson, you can have a job anywhere, as he says. And so he's became very successful. In fact, last year from this, he made $17 million. If you can imagine, and he's 20 years old, by the way, at this point. And so if you can imagine, he's an international businessman known all over the world. But him, like I said, J.W. Wilson and him put this together on the Learning Code marketing. And in fact, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to visit. Now, before you go here, I want you to go click on CoreCentricaNews.com, because this, not us, because it's going to ask you to sign up for the the newsletter. But I want you to do that because, number one, you'll start getting a newsletter and understand more. And you'll also be able to download the white paper I'm going to show you tonight. But we're going to go there and I'm going to show you so just go to CoreCentrica.com.
Okay, and once again, I want to make sure that people understand you can ask a question by simply typing it into your social media of choice. Okay, ask a question of Les. And look, if we're in business, you need leads. And yes, I do understand that I misspelled leads. I think I had my finger twitch on that, or I graduated from Garden City, Kansas High School. So come on, give me a little bit of a break. You know, I at least got L in there. But yes, we all depend and live on leads. And Les, the one thing about this that we have not talked about yet is you've talked about the cost of this. But if there's not results, there is a money back guarantee.
Exactly what we're talking about. These aren't leads, folks. These are guaranteed sales. In fact, we guarantee when you're spending $1,000 a month with us, after 90 days, if you have not received $3,000 in sales, we give you your money back. And that's unheard of. But that's what Learning Code does. And that's like I said, when we bring them to you, they're 90% ready to buy. And the other thing on that, just to let you know, out of 127 clients last year, we were only not able to bring their ideal client to 2. And so we refunded their money. So if you take that percentage, that means we have a 1.5% failure rate. And again, if we're a failure on it, you get your money back. It's that simple. But all the others stay with us forever because of in fact, some people call us and say, hey, you guys shut this off. I've got too many clients coming in. And would that be a nice problem to have?
I would say that wouldn't suck. Yeah. Yeah. I could see myself liking having too many people coming in. So.
And so let's go to the website. I'm going to explain a couple things to you, and then we'll go through PowerPoint. Right now, just the website.
Oh, okay. So we need to go to the news is where you wanted to go?
No, CoreCentrica.com. Let's skip the news part.
Okay. Give me just
I'm not going to have you sign up for the newsletter.
Give me just 1 second. We'll be right there. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Because there's 2 or 3 areas I want to show to you that you can really, if you really want to understand this stuff, there's a lot on the website where you can.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, first off, I want you to go clear to the right under blog.
You got it.
And if you scroll down gradually, you'll see all the different areas of the brain. And if you click on each one of those, you're going to have an explanation, some of them a video. I was mentioning that there's many areas of the brain that want to be contacted, but the right way. If they're not contracted the right way, then they shut it off. It's like banging on the head with a sledgehammer. That's why 90% of marketing programs fail. The brain doesn't want to hear it. Only 10% are partially interested. And so usually the person spends more than what they get on ROI. And so and load more, as you can see. So if you want to understand the brain, this is the blog to do it. And you can understand the technology that we use to connect the brain. And you can learn all about the brain if you want to. And so if you're technical, go for it. And again, if you really want to understand the brain, go to Amazon and download the book, Cracking the Learning Code. And it's 750 pages. And it's got different levels. There's certain levels where it goes and it says, now, if you don't need to know any more, go to the next chapter. If you want much deeper, continue reading. And so he handles all the different things. And so it's quite interesting. And the next thing I want you to do is go to the homepage. Yeah, main site. Home. Then go ahead and scroll down. No, that's the blog yet. Let's go to the main site. There we go. And scroll down. And again, it shows the different things that we do. There's the gentleman that wrote the book, Cracking the Learning Code. He's 83 years old, and he's known worldwide. He actually works with many different universities, and I'm trying to think which it is, the hospital. He does marketing for them, world famous right now, just skips my mind. Keep going down. And now this link right now isn't working. He's redoing his website. But for $27, you'll start to, if you want to pay it, he will start to educate you on the learning code and how it does. And go to About Us. Go ahead and scroll down. There's the gentleman I was talking about, Sam Pippin. He's 20 years old. In fact, it's funny. He came to Denver at a conference last week, and he wasn't able to rent a car. He's not legal, so he had to have a chauffeur, and he wasn't able to drink at the parties. Like you said, 8 months, he's legal. Anyway, go ahead and go to our services. This is where I really want to be clear. We handle, on our services. Let's see if it shows them all. Okay. Folks, we also work for the Fortune 5000 companies. We do websites. We do trade shows. We do all the different things that any company needs. And like, for instance, we just signed up one of the largest medical manufacturers in Europe, and we're going to do 35 conferences with them this year. And so we do it all. And so if you're a business that works with businesses or professionals, like, for instance, if you're a business that has something, you sell attorneys, we will come and bring the attorneys to you, and whatever courses or education you do, there's the exhibits and so forth. So we do it all. Now on portfolio. Go ahead and scroll down. Here's some of the stuff that we're known for. Again, we work for them all. Philips, the Canon, Nintendo, the hospitals, and so forth. So I won't go through it all, but this is available to you for you to do all your research. And then go ahead and go to the learning code.
Yeah, I think this one is really interesting that it's got 2D and 3D animations. So, nowadays and this right here would be an example of what like a 3D animation or 3D would look like. This one has got the fire in it. And so, yeah, those are just a couple extra things I wanted to point out.
You bet. And the learning code, we have the endorsements of the top people in the world. Like, for instance, here, Kiyosaki. Go ahead and scroll down. That's the one I was trying to remember. We do marketing for Mayo Clinic, Arizona State, the Deming Institute, and all the different ones. So you're in good company if you join us as a client. We've done it all, and we can do it all. And the learning code is just unbelievable. And then, okay, now what I want you to do is go ahead and load up the PDF, please.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a little more detail. Let's see, there's no way you can make that bigger, right? Okay.
No, that's as big as it gets right there, my friend.
Okay, let's scroll down some. Okay, and it is a new standard for engagement and conversion, and you're going to see that as we go into it. The innovation is unbelievable, and it's breaking all records as far as marketing. Go ahead, next slide. And I'm not going to try to read all this. Again, you will be able to download this at the website after you sign up for the newsletter.
We'll also, I will have a link to where you can go and download this in the description of the show.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead and next. And again, this is talking all about the strategies and how, especially after you've seen the video. The other thing, we have proprietary software, is after we determine who we're marketing with you. And by the way, we prepare everything. We do all the posting. We do everything and bring the client to you for $1,000. It's kind of like today or yesterday, we signed up. If you know what a private equity company is or a family office, they own about 40 companies. And the gentleman said, "You mean to tell me for $1,000 a month, my companies can have clients coming in?" He says, "Is this a no-brainer?" And so he's going to pick two of his companies and do a pilot to make sure we do everything right.
I actually kind of want to make a point on this too.
Sure.
You go to any business school, they're going to tell you that you really need to make sure that you put a value on what you do. Okay. Put a value on your time. Are you worth $25 an hour? Maybe, but God, I hope not. I hope that you value yourself more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And where $1,000 sounds like it could be a lot, the truth is that if you've got somebody who's posting on the ultimate of social medias for business, which is LinkedIn, I'm going to tell you something. I spent over 3 hours today myself posting on LinkedIn. Probably going to end up doing that a couple times this week. Believe me, $1,000, I would love to pay that just to where I don't have to do it.
And go ahead, next slide.
Okay, there we go.
And our whole mission again is completely change the marketing system, because the learning code itself, he has a program for, and if you want to contact me about this, we have a program for learning code for homeschooling. Like I said, we do the universities. We have a very inexpensive one for homeschooling, because the poor mothers are trying to get kids to beat them with information. And the head says, "No, I don't want this." But if they know how to apply it and how to present it, then the kids get excited and say, "Man, this is neat. I'd love to, fly around the world in my reading," and so forth, rather than sitting here and arguing with my brother. Next slide. And so that's what we're doing. The goal is very simple: to attract and convert your customers faster, your ideal customer. And that's one of the things that people are kind of blown away at. They're used to taking anybody that comes. Well, we're going to bring your ideal customer, because that's your ideal client, because that's who we're going to go after and contact. Next slide. And this here will show the two different sides. I'll read one here. if I can. And prospecting. Traditionally, identifying potential customers takes cold calling, networking, events, social media, and referrals. Now, with Corecentrica, it innovates this step by leveraging data. Remember LinkedIn? And remember our proprietary software? I don't know if I mentioned it to you. After we find out on LinkedIn who we're going after, we actually have proprietary software that finds out every search they did through any search engine. So we'll find out what condition they're in, what's their mindset, and then if they match what we're looking for, then we contact them. So they really are targeted to the utmost. And again, we're doing all that for you for $1,000 a month. And again, after 90 days, we don't make it, your money back. It's kind of no-brainer. And I won't read all these, but again, you'll be able to download this from from Zach.
Yep.
And please read it and please contact me. And I will, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my my calendar link here in the chat so you can contact me directly.
That'll work, and I'll go on ahead and I'll put that directly into the chat of the show. That way it'll show up and it'll be linked for everybody for easier use. And I'm going to, just another personal thing here. Having somebody else do all that cold calling, I'm liking this so far, because if somebody else could do all that cold calling and I don't have to deal with it, I'm okay with that. I'm not a huge fan of cold calling. So.
And you know what's funny is there's 15 to 25% that actually love marketing. They love contacting people. And for those, we just say, well, if you want some extra clients coming in and joining you for lunch, hire us. But if you don't, do it all yourself. In fact, by the end of the year, we're coming up with a artificial intelligence that is going to include the learning code. And then we're going to have it as a monthly situation. Because right now we have many different marketing companies that are contacting us wanting to resell it. But for do-it-yourselfers, we are going to have artificial intelligence that actually allows you to go out and do yourself. Or if you're lazy like me, have somebody else do it. Go ahead. I don't know if it's lazy or just smart, but it depends on how you look at it. Go ahead. And this one really tells the difference. It takes an average of 8 cold call attempts to reach a prospect. And then you have to connect with them 5 to 12 times for them to convert. If you'll notice here on Corecentrica and Code 24 Strategies, try 5 times and they're ready to convert. And by the way, folks, this is 1,000 campaigns, the results of. And so this is real. And retention, that's one of the things, if you're a business and you're using our methods, the retention is unbelievable because you're continuing to contact them in their life, in their emotions, in their dreams. And that's what it's all about. Go ahead. And same thing as far as the retention is improved tremendously. Next slide. And the testimonials by Kiyosaki, the dynamic media networks, the different gurus. If you're in sales and marketing, you know these names. Next slide. More of them. The queen of social media, Anne Gray, What she says is, this is unheard of, but it's here now today. Next slide. And so you can join the revolution and by the way, we do have a lower, we have for $500 a month. We will bring you the contact information. We do not guarantee it, and it's up to you to do all the follow-up. And you won't be, when you are able to rent our the AI, you would be able to follow up, but that's going to be about 3 months. But again, and so we are going to have something for the do-it-yourselfer. For $500, you can pay us to find your ideal client in the time of life that is perfect. But there is no guarantee on the 500. We guarantee at 1,000 because we do it all. Next slide. And so there's my information again. It looks like the bottom was cut off there, which is my information, but it's over on the side.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's all I can get.
That's right. Because it's just less at coursecentrica.com. But again, when you go to the website, make sure you go to the coursecentricanews.com. That will allow you to two things. It will allow to be listed under myself, and allows you to subscribe to the newsletter, and then you can download the different things on the website. But then we'll keep in touch with you, because you're going to want to know about what's happening here and who's using it and so forth. And join our family. It's that simple, because we do believe it's a family.
This is still a new program, right? I mean, it's still
it's within the last 3 years.
Yeah, and so the being part of the newsletter is so important, because you're going to be the first one to hear about all the up and coming things, and hear about all the new changes and all that other stuff, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So,
and again, remember, folks, we do this for nonprofits too. We go out and find the donor. So if you're a lot of nonprofits here, and one of the things we're doing creative. Now let me clarify on nonprofits. I introduced a nonprofit to Sam on Monday, and he says, Les, can't do it. And I says, okay, educate me. What nonprofits can we not handle? She had 5 different things she was trying to do, and she didn't have the money to do any of them, and she got a lot of in-kind donations. And he said, if we bring a donor to her, and she says, well, I got this here, I got that there, I got this there. He says they've got to be in business 3 or 4 years. They got to have a mission, not 12 of them, not 5 of them. They've got to know what they're doing, because they need supporters that want to support that. And so those are the 2 things we require: is they know what they're doing, and they're not all over the place. And otherwise, there are none. If it's a nonprofit that really knows what they're doing, then we will find the donor for them for the mission. And so all you nonprofits out there, this is what I was going to say. The other thing is, if you don't have the $1,000, go to the businesses in your area and ask them to donate $250 a piece for four of them for $1,000 to get it going. And because then you tell them, okay, for $1,000, we're going to get 20. For $1,000, we could get 100. It all depends, but you're at least going to get the 1,000 back, and after 90 days. And so be creative if you don't have it. If you do, introduce some of your board members. I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's just like them buying marketing, which they're doing anyway. But now it's guaranteed marketing.
Yeah, this sounds great. I'm really happy to see, and I need you to do me a favor. Tell Sam that I said hi. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, Matter of fact, I didn't even know that he was up in Canada. Last I was talking to him, he was in, I think, South America. The last time I was talking to him, he had a little. He and his partner were in a little apartment. So I mean, this is amazing that he's went from that little teeny tiny apartment to what he's doing now. So make sure you do me a favor and tell him I said hi.
You bet.
And I'd love to reconnect with him sometime. So Les, they get a hold of you at les@corecentrica.com, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you got anything else that you want to share with them? And here's your phone number. It's 303-579-6881. 303-579-6881.
And the second one on you still have 3 ways to banking.
Yeah. I had to try to pull up your phone number there.
Sure.
But I'll get that one off of there soon. But
sure.
Yeah. So you got anything else to share with us tonight?
No, that'll do it. And everybody, at least get the newsletter, find out what's going on, and please contact me. We'd love to add you to the family.
Yeah, and please share this video. This video is going to be seen on the PAC channel a couple times per week. We really want to get this message out. Like I said,
I spelled that wrong. It's HTTP, or you did HTTPS. There's got to be an S.
Okay, yeah. So it's secured. All right. Yeah, I just copied it. So we just forgot the S, but I will change that on there, so it'll be all taken care of. So, all right. Well, thank you, Les, and we will talk to you next month. Let's get this going.
You bet. Sounds good. Have a good
evening.
All
right. Thank you, buddy. Wow. Look, again, another program. This one is a lot different than what Les usually brings us, and this is just really cool. Again, if you are spending too much time doing one thing, imagine what, and this actually came to light with me because I was spending like almost a complete day just to take and put out one newsletter every week. I'm putting out 2 now, and I spend maybe an hour on them a piece because of a different program. Cost me a little bit of money, but I was able to get into a different program, and I was able to do so much better with it. And that's what this is. $1,000, yeah, that's a little sticker shock. I'm not going to joke with you. It's a little bit of sticker shock. But get in there, get to work on the first 3 months. If you don't have $3,000 in sales, they're going to give you that $1,000, that $3,000 back, up to $3,000 back. If you've got somebody out there that is going through and picking the people that are looking for you, what are the chances are you're not going to be able, you're not going to make those sales? I mean, this really, really sounds enticing and interesting, and it really sounds great. It really does. So I want to thank Les for joining us, as he does every second Wednesday of the month. So make sure that you join us next month when he's going to join us again and tell us a lot more about and look, I'm going to tell you something. If it's a business, this guy's got his fingers on it. So Les is, like I said, I was joking earlier. I said the man, the myth, the Les. I'm not joking. He is the man. He's in a lot of things. So, but once again, you can get a hold of Les at corecentrica.com. Thank God I talk for a living, right? So Les at corecentrica.com. One of our brand new mission partners is here. I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the last 10-year journey I've had with Community Pay It Forward and everyone out there. But I really want to introduce you guys to Mr. Paul Jetter. Paul, and this is actually fitting because last week we had Jennifer with Dignified Dementia. Paul and Jennifer could actually work together and they could do things really well. Paul came up with a very, very simple idea because his dad kept wandering off. And this is just a wonderful program. And this is a program that he started uh, just because he wanted to make sure his dad was safe. This is a brand new friend of mine, um, brand new partner in the Community Pay It Forward program. Mr. Paul Jetter was safely back home. We are extremely excited to talk to Paul Jetter, who created Safely Back Home. And it's a story that should sound a little familiar because it's a story that we've been talking about lately with Dignified Dementia. And they have come through with another program trying to help people who are dealing with someone you love who's found themselves in the grips of dementia. And I would like to bring on Paul Jetter. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Zach. Thank you so much for this opportunity for the interview and to be part of your program. Appreciate it.
Well, you know, we are extremely excited to have you on and be a small part of what you are trying to do, because dementia is unfortunately something that's not on the decline. It's on the, it's happening more and more in the United States. But there's also not just dementia. You're finding use for use and assistance for people who are, let's say, autistic, with what you're doing as well, right?
Correct. Yeah, it started. It really started based on dementia and my father, and the research that I did about Alzheimer's and dementia. And my brother was his caregiver, and and he was encouraged to keep my dad physically active. That's part of what they recommend to help slow down the process a bit. So he did that. But what I had read about that I had no idea about was that 6 out of 10 people with Alzheimer's tend to wander, and that I didn't know anything about that. And so my brother was a magnificent caregiver, and I'm not overstating that. He took such great care of my dad, and but he did take him to parks not far from where he lived. He did take him to stores and things like that. And as part of my research, the thought was, okay, that's wonderful, but what happens if my brother takes his eye off my dad, which is going to happen at some point, and if my dad wandered, and if he was in that group of people who wander, who have dementia and Alzheimer's. And my concern was, if my dad got to the point where with his dementia, where he could no longer say his name or where he lived, and he was walking, even in his neighborhood, people wouldn't know him in his neighborhood. He was a workaholic. He was always in his shop. They would not know what to do, and they'd call the police or 911, and my dad would be taken to the police station, and they would not be able to identify him, and if he was not able to tell them who he was or where he lived. And so my brother would not be able to be contacted. And that's how this whole thing started. It was a long time ago. And but it's part of the journey on this. It started with my dad with dementia. You mentioned autism. What I learned along the way is that similar to dementia and Alzheimer's, people with autism also wander. They elope, they bolt, they take off. And there's different triggers that makes them have that happen. And Many people with autism are nonverbal. Uh, Many could have difficulty in saying who they are, where they live. And then the other common thread with people with older folks with Alzheimer's, dementia, other people with autism is they really don't have a sense of danger. They don't have a sense of danger. And so when somebody goes wandering or gets lost, what I've been told is it's about a 48-hour window where they need to be um, recovered. And if that doesn't happen, then there's a high likelihood that they'll be injured or worse. And and children, especially with autism or people with autism, are drawn to water, and that's the danger of them
Yeah.
drowning. So it all started with my dad. And so my dad would not wear a tracking device. He would not wear a tracking device. And so I had a very simple idea um, for my dad and my brother. And that was to imprint on his clothing, to imprint on his sleeve, actually, my brother's cell phone number. So that if my dad did wander, if my dad did get lost and someone saw him, it would just be at this point, it'd just be my brother's cell phone number. What you're showing now is what it's become at this
Right.
point with Safely Back Home. But it was just my brother's cell phone number. And it was easy for me to iron on transfers that had my brother's cell phone number. So fast forward, my brother was part of a caregiver support group. This was all in New Jersey, in Piscataway at the time, in East Brunswick. And he brought in some of the garments, the examples that I'd made to his support group. And the facilitator there shared it with the people, and they all liked it a lot. And they liked the idea and they liked the concept because they could relate to it. Um, Continued along. I was working on it. My dad, his last year and a half, fortunately, I would call positive. My brother had been his caregiver, but then it became a little too much. My dad had a few too many falls, so he stayed in a facility and he passed. He passed, but he had the last year and a half was positive for him and for my family. And so I kind of put the idea on the back burner. It was brought up to me again some years later, and that, whatever happened to that idea that I had. And so I revisited it, and I also, so I made samples up, and I was working with a group called Putting the Pieces Together in Lyndhurst. And it was a group for families with children with autism, but children over age 21 as well. And I had met the woman who ran the program, and she invited me to go there on Wednesday nights when they'd have their activities where the parents would come in. And it was a wonderful program. The parents could relax, and then the kids of any age, for 1 month, they had dancing, and the dance instructor was fantastic, and the music was great. And another time they had cooking, and then another time they had music. But what I was doing was the parents would bring in clothing of their children. And at that time, they would give me their phone numbers. I showed them samples of what we're doing. And I would imprint. I used a special type of imprint that was very soft so that the kids with autism wouldn't be scratching at it all day. And I imprinted saying, if I appear lost, please call. And it was the parents' phone number. And I did that for about 4 months or so. And it did cross my mind and the parents really appreciated it. And we had some folks who requested it be done in Spanish, and that was fine. We did that as well. But it did cross my mind that having the parents' phone number on there, exposed them potentially. And at this right around the same time, just coincidentally. There's a lot of what a friend of mine calls serendipity that has taken place with this program. Just coincidences coming together, and the putting the pieces together had a basketball game with the North Arlington Police Department. And I was invited to set up a table so that people can see what I was doing at halftime. And it was the kids and young adults who from putting the pieces together against the North Arlington Police Department. It was an annual thing. And the gentleman who was the referee saw my table, came over at halftime, and we talked about what I was doing a little bit. And then he came over after the game was over, and we talked extensively. And I had told him about the fact that I'd prefer that this become involved with police departments rather than families, because the police are going to coordinate the rescues, rather than it being on the family. And it was quite wonderful. He invited me to meet with the chief of North Arlington Police the very next day. And so I did. And we went over the idea, and rather than having the family's phone number, we would have the police department's phone number. And we would also have an ID number. So that would be specific, unique ID number to that individual. And it started that way. By the way, I want to give credit also to an organization, a magnificent organization called Project Lifesaver International.
Right.
I had met with Chief Saunders. I had met with sheriffs from Morris County when I started doing this as a police thing. And Project Lifesaver is a program that's, excuse me, sorry. Project Lifesaver is a program that's, it was the first one actually with tracking devices. And it's throughout the United States. And I got to meet Chief Gene Saunders. I went down and met with him in Port St. Lucie. And he loved the idea of what I was doing. And we still are hoping to work together on it. But the reason I mentioned that is I was very impressed by their program because of not just that they were the first with tracking devices, but they were the first. But I read about their approach. And what they do is actually train deputies not only on how to track the signal from the tracking device, but how to interact with individuals with Alzheimer's and autism. And I was very impressed by the human approach they took. And I decided to do that same approach with Safely Back Home. And so the way the program became structured, it grew very quickly. This is now back in 2016. The way we structured it is that let's say I'm the person who either has Alzheimer's or autism, and this is a free program. We're a 501c3. We became that in 2020, and this is a free program to the families who participate. So this is how it would work. So Zach, let's say that you're my dad if I have autism, or you're my son if I have Alzheimer's or dementia. And for right now, the town that we've just started in, the name of the town is called Hopatcong, New Jersey. Hopatcong, New Jersey. So we live in Hopatcong, and I've already wandered. You know that I've had this experience wandering, again, whether I'm an older person or a person with autism. So you would go to the Hopatcong Police Department, or you can, this is enrolling in the program, or you can enroll online, or there are other locations in Hopatcong where you can enroll. And it's a very simple procedure. You include a recent photo of me, recent photo.
Mm-hmm.
You're my caregiver. So all of your information, how you can be reached. Also, maybe 2 other contacts in case I'm wandering. Then you include some basic medical information. If there's anything very crucial, if I have diabetes, if I have type 1, what's it called? I just went blank on it. Uh, but if I have any severe illnesses, that's one part. But then the other part that's most crucial is you say, look, when you approach my father or when you approach my son, and this
By
is,
the way, I love this part.
yeah,
This part is so ingenious.
well, this is really important because what a parent is worried about, what a caregiver is worried about, is how their child or their family member is going to interact when a police officer or first responder approaches them. And so on the application form, what you would include is you'd say, look, when you approach my dad or when you approach my son, talk to him about his dog, Charlie. Talk to him about his dog, Charlie. And then I would immediately connect with that officer and I'd feel calm and I would trust him because they're talking about uh, Charlie, my dog. And by the way, what I was trying to remember before was type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, yeah.
I just came back. Um, and so then what would happen is they take that enrollment form and they assign a safely back home ID number to me. Okay. And then what we do is we print iron on decals. These are decals that can be ironed on. And it's so important to know this. I've done a lot of testing with these products and this technology. Is that I'll show you what it looks like. I
Well,
think, okay, I'm sorry.
Paul, let me go on ahead and do this. And please note, everyone out there have been changes made to these decals, but this is very similar to what it looks like. If you look on the arm, it's that's one location it can be put on. But again, there are differences now. It's not. I One thing is there's not as many words on it,
Right,
so
right.
it's
If you
more
scroll
clear and
down, Zach,
concise.
yeah, if you scroll down, Zach, or I can actually show it here to the bottom of the page.
Yeah,
Um,
as we had showed earlier, this is what it.
yeah, and so I'll refer to this. So write that. I'll refer to that. And so what is shown on there? This is it's a patch. It's an iron-on, and I can show you here on during the interview as well what it looks like. I have a sample of it here. But what happens is that patch. Okay, so let me show you on a garment, and I'll try my best. And like I said, I'm not great at doing this, but can you see that? Okay,
Yeah,
or this?
you had it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
So very
so
simple, very clean,
but
very easy to read.
and this is what it is before we iron it on. So I'll refer to this. So for the folks who are looking at this, it has the safely back home emblem. Let me see this way, I guess. Yeah.
Right,
Then it has the name of the township. So in this case, it's Hopatcong, New Jersey. Then beneath that, it has the 24-hour phone number for the police department in Hopatcong, New Jersey. And then it has the safely back home ID number. Okay. So now, these can be ironed onto any garment and they're completely washproof and they're soft and they're durable. So what happens now is I'm wandering and I'm wearing, say, this shirt. Okay. I'm wandering, I'm wearing this shirt. And I could be anywhere. Um, I use the example because it's summertime. And by the way, this can be ironed on to clothing for the summer, fall, winter, etc. I'm wandering, say, down by the Jersey Shore. I'm a Jersey guy, Jersey family. We're wandering down the Jersey Shore. Hopatcong is about 2 hours from the Jersey Shore. And I'm on the boardwalk. And again, I could be a young person with autism. I can be an older person with autism. I can be a senior with Alzheimer's or dementia. And there are many other things too, Down syndrome. A lot of folks tend to wander. And for whatever reason, Zach, I've broken away from you. Okay. And I'm wandering. Now, many people can tell just by my body language that I'm disoriented, that something's not right. And my thought on this is that most people, just because the nature of the way things are, is that they'll mind their own business and they'll figure that somebody's going to take care of that kid, the family, someone's going to take care of that old guy, security or something like that. And I'd say most people, and it's not good, bad, or otherwise, it's just the way things are. But there will be one person, say 1 out of 10, who want to come over and help me. And they'll come over and help me, and they'll see this imprint on my shirt, and they'll see the phone number. They see safely back home, Hopakon, the phone number, and they'll call that number. And what will happen is they will get the Hopakon Police Department dispatcher, and they'll say, there's this old guy, there's this young kid, seems to be lost. I'm here in Point Pleasant. And even if they don't say they're in Point Pleasant, the police can see from the incoming call it's from Point Pleasant. And they say he's wearing this shirt or hat or whatever I'm wearing, and he has this ID number. And even before they talk about the ID number, the dispatcher knows right away that this is a person who's in the Safely Back Home program. So they tell, I'll call it a Good Samaritan in this case, thank you, please stay with him. And the dispatcher from the Hopakon Police Department immediately calls the dispatcher, calls the Point Pleasant Police Department and speaks to their dispatcher, explains the situation, and then electronically forwards my file, the enrollment form with the information, electronically to the Point Pleasant Police Department. The Point Pleasant Police Department then immediately forward my file to the patrol car that's right at the boardwalk, closest to where the report was made. That officer then is able to see on the monitor a picture of me, knows about you as my caregiver, knows what to say to me to keep me calm, and goes and makes a rescue on the boardwalk. And then you and I get reunited, our family. So it's a very, very simple concept with the iron-ons, and it really, I don't overstate what it's capable of. It's a tool. It's a tool to be used to assist in a rescue of someone who's wandering, and it doesn't take the place of tracking devices, not at all. Tracking devices are the best approach, and some people can afford it. Sometimes they're subsidized, the tracking devices. This kind of complements a tracking device, but it's also for anyone who does not have a tracking device. It's what's great about this is our costs have come way down. Before, we used to have to imprint each individual shirt professionally, and it cost $15 to $20 for each shirt. Now we have these iron-ons that only run a couple dollars, and people are able to iron on to whatever clothing their family member enjoys wearing.
Yeah.
And it gives the whole concept behind this is to try and provide parents, family members, caregivers a little more peace of mind.
Now, one of the things, Paul, and this is from personal past. I think one of the other things that it does, and people don't realize this who've never had to deal with somebody with dementia or Alzheimer's or autism, that a change in area, a change in situation, a change in any of this can make the individual extremely excited. When they get excited, there's a tendency to get a little belligerent. Just like all of us, when we get scared, we get a little mouthy, we get a little,
Right.
the brain doesn't start putting things together. You can't, as an individual, if you're talking to a police officer, you're not going to want to take and reach in your pocket real quick to grab your cell phone. Or you're not going to take and reach in your pocket real quick to grab your wallet to show who you are safely. You can't do that. This gives an opportunity for the officer to walk up and realize this officer immediately. They can see, okay, we can relax our nerves a little bit because we know that this person has a deficiency that we can give a little bit of a little bit of leeway to.
Zach, I'm so glad you brought that up because, yes, that is from the family's perspective. This whole program is to give them a little more peace of mind about if
Hmm.
their child or if their senior wanders. From the police departments and first responders perspective, it's twofold. It's first thing is actually they view it that boy, it's going to save them a lot of time when they find somebody who has no ID on them and they have no way of knowing who this person is. Sometimes it takes several hours at the police station. It can even take days sometimes where an older person would be in the hospital until they figure out who that person is. In this case, they can immediately identify the person. And then it's the second part that you brought up that's really important. And that was, I learned about through police departments, through folks in law enforcement. They've told me that they appreciate it because when they approach somebody who's lost, disoriented, whatever, they don't know anything about that person. And if that person, just the way you described, becomes doesn't follow the simple instructions that the officer is giving, becomes belligerent or aggressive, the officers have no idea why that person is behaving that way. And they have to assume they're on drugs or on alcohol, whatever. And they've told me that if they see this safely back home imprint, the patch on the clothing, that they immediately understand that there's an explanation for this. Okay. So yeah, thanks for bringing up that point. And as far as uh, where the program is now and what's happening, um, the we want the program. The programs is free. So based on donations, we're able to print the decals, send them out to the families, and they're able to iron them on. And we have very simple ironing instructions, uh, and so anyone could do it. Um, we do work. If the programs really start with us, with me making a presentation to the police departments. And what we did in Bergen County is that I was invited to speak. They have meetings every month of the police association, and it's all the chiefs from a given county. So that's how we're going to go about it now: is make it the presentation to all the chiefs at one time, and then ideally, Project Lifesaver, Chief Saunders has said he'd like us to try to do this partnership and make the program available to all the families who are currently enrolled in Project Lifesaver, which is a large number of families. And we want to make all this available for free. And so that's kind of an overview of what the program is. We're still at a very small stage. We want to make it available. By the way, not every family will want it, but many families will. Some families do not want to have any reference to their family member being different in some way, and
Yeah,
I completely understand that.
you can understand to a point, but I think that it's my own opinion there that there needs to be a little more education when it comes to it, because you got to make people aware that there is a potential for bad, for anything to happen, not just good things but bad things happen. Making sure that people in the public understand that, look, if this person seems a little out there, there's a reason for that. So I want to bring this up. I was just showing on the website, and up in the corner right now, you can see the QR code. And if you go to the if you take and you go to right here, the QR code, you scan this QR code, it is going to take you to the job form where you can support Safely Back Home and help them make their dreams come true. You can go to their website and check everything out, see what they've got going on. You scroll down here a little bit, and you can find any partner that you can shop with. Go to any of our partners, you shop with them, take a picture of the receipt and send it to us, and you will automatically be supporting Safely Back Home. Or you can tell us what you're looking for. click on this form and you can say, hey, we need a website designer, we need a coach, we need we need interior decorator, whatever it is. You click on this, you let us know, and we will pair you with any partners that we may have. Okay, simply add your name and your email address, and then you hit submit, and instantly Safely Back Home becomes gets a portion of your sales. No upsell. You're not spending any additional money. None of that. It's all automatic. So, Paul, I love what you're doing. This is something that we're going to be working with you until it's nationwide, because this is such a wonderful program. Your website is safelybackhome.org. Once again, that is www.safelybackhome.org. They can email you at info@safelybackhome.org, info@safelyback.org. And the phone number to reach you is 201-874-4054, 201-874-4054. Before we cut this interview off, is there anything else that you would like to tell people?
It's on a personal note. I kind of refer to myself, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. and this type of doing this type of work, for anyone who's older like me, it's especially gratifying at this stage of my life. So I can envision doing this for years ahead. And the people I meet along the way, Zach, including yourself, is part of what I really enjoy with this journey. Is I meet people who are, just find people who want to help others, and also the families. I mean, it's pretty powerful when a parent tells you thank you for helping them to feel a little more at ease about their child situation, or their parent or grandparent situation. So yeah, it has that kind of impact. And so I really appreciate your giving me and Safely Back Home this opportunity to reach more people. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep working at it. And uh, again, what you're doing here is I greatly appreciate. Thank you.
Well, Paul, I think I would like in turn to take and turn that back to you, because truthfully, we have all been in a situation, well, many of us have been in a situation before where, everybody's trying to think of these elaborate ways to make sure everyone's safe. And you were able to sit there and go, why are we doing elaborate when all we have to do is this? And you have taken and you have made something that is one of the scariest moments in a family's life a little less scary by iron-ons. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing thought process, and amazing idea. So again, you can get a hold of Paul and give him a call and talk to him at 201-874-4054. Make sure you scan that QR code. Make a purchase today with something that you need to purchase through the Community Pay It Forward program, and you can help him and his organization get this wonderful, wonderful program out to areas like yours. So, Paul, thank you very, very much for joining me today. It's a pleasure, and I thank you so very much for sharing this with us.
Zach, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for this time.
Not a problem.
Greatly appreciate. To be continued.
Sounds good. We'll talk again here real soon. So, thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Take care.
Yep. Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good in communities everywhere. We understand that shopping is a necessity, but with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference without spending any extra money. Here's how it works. Please visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, which are trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any of the partners that resonate with you. Click a picture of the receipt or invoice, then pick the mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send the receipt directly to us. After that, all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchases, knowing that you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing the story of those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. So now one of the funny things about this whole journey that I have undertaken is, I look at that last video and I think I've redone that video like 15 times, some version of that video. And I finally realized that, I didn't have to say everything at once. I could go on ahead and cut and paste and do some weird stuff. So that is definitely one of the things that I have learned technology a hell of a lot better than I ever knew it before. As I mentioned to everyone at the start of the show, today is 10 years. And again, it's a weird place to be because 10 years ago, I was hanging out with friends and at this time we were having fun, helping out a dear friend of mine who we've lost, Lisa Miller, the owner of the Windjammer. We ended up losing Lisa, I believe, last year to cancer, and that's a heavy loss on my mind. But it was funny because when I woke up in the hospital, I had just bought a brand new shirt from the Beaver's Den. I had bought a brand new shirt from the Windjammer. And those got tore up in the accident. Just bought a brand new hat at the time, in which this kind of freaks me out a little bit. I think about it, and 10 years ago, my son, I had one son that was 12 years old and one that was just beginning in college. And I just got this brand new, gorgeous white hat. And the end of the day, it wasn't white anymore. It definitely wasn't white anymore. But when I when I was lying in the hospital room, and I can't tell you what I was thinking in the ditch. I just don't know. I don't remember. I don't recall any of that. But when I was lying in the hospital room, the one thing that kept flashing through my mind is when I woke up and I was able to look around and I was able to see all the wonderful people there. My one thought was always, what happens to people when they wake up in a brand new place, or people who aren't as big mouthed as I am? What happens with people who don't have the support system that I had, that don't have the people who supported me like I had? I had no idea at this point in time what was going on. You know, um, I couldn't hear out of my right ear, but I kept getting told that that was because the swelling in my brain and the swelling in my head was affecting my hearing, and don't get too worried about that. And you know, wasn't until about 2 months later that we found out that I severed that nerve, and the hearing was gone forever. Um, but I did. I kept thinking about other people and what they have to go through when they don't have people there. And so I took that opportunity to start to build what you see now, which is Community Pay It Forward. I was going to go at another route, but things got in the way and plans changed. And quite frankly, I'm really happy to see the plans changed. I went from one focus to where I don't. I guess saying I don't have a focus is probably not the best thing to say, but we went from focusing on one group of people to focusing on everyone. And I seriously cannot say thank you enough to everyone who has stuck by me during this crazy, crazy time. Look, we're not even close to being where I want to be. Not at all. And I'm going to tell you this right now. You know what? If we have 100,000 receipts coming in every day, we're still not going to be where I want to be, because I really want to try to find a way to help everyone with something. Well, you can't help everyone. Well, we don't know this. No one's ever tried. So let's give it a shot. Let's see. I talk about stories a lot. Stories are the direction of Community Pay It Forward. Stories are the reason why we do this. And that's because I believe that every single one of us has a story that, if told, and if somebody accidentally trips upon that story while it's being told, it can really make a difference in their life. Talking to a lovely young lady that is in New York now. She's here on a visa, work visa from Germany. And she signed up. She's going to be coming onto the shore here pretty soon. But I'm excited to learn more about her. I'm excited to tell her story. Because the one thing that she said, and we will repeat this when she comes on because I really found it interesting. She had said that, at one point in time, she didn't think she needed to be in business. She didn't think she, was a business person. Why do that when I can just be me? And then she started thinking about it, and why not? And that's perfect. And you know what? If we put her story in front of somebody else who's sitting there right now thinking, yeah, I kind of wouldn't mind going into business, but who am I? What do I have to offer? Why would I do this? Blah, 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 excuse, whatever. If we put her story in front of them and they sit down and they listen to it for just a couple minutes and they hear about this young lady who wasn't going to get into business. She was just going to go on ahead and keep living her life the way that she was living it. Great life, don't get me wrong. But then she decided, why not me? Turned it around. She's become a business person. We really want to focus on people who need help. And for those of you who have heard this story, I'm sorry. But this is a very, very important story. Logan and Rainier Darrington and I were all sitting in our offices in Loveland. And I think it was Rainier who shared it. It was on Facebook. And it was this thing, give me a like, give me a share, and I'll break an egg over my head. And so the idea came about, well, let's have some fun with this. And we decided, you know what, let's do this. Let's get it up to $50. We'll give the money away. So we were telling people, give us $1, give us a share. And if we get to $50, we'll meet at the Windjammer, have a couple adult beverages, and we'll have a group of 4 people, 5 people who will break eggs over our head. Now, 2 of these people chickened out. But we had Rainia's lovely daughter who stepped in and took the place of Lisa, the one of them who chickened out. The other one shall remain nameless, Dad, who chickened out. Dad, Pops, my father, Dad. But folks, it took like 3 minutes for us to get to that $50 mark. I mean, we didn't even have a chance to discuss who we were going to give the money to. And we had the $50. We were on our way. We were going to do this. And so we changed the rules and we said, you know what, get us up to $100. And what we'll do is we'll draw 5 different names, 5 different people get to take and break an egg over one of our heads. Each person would get an egg that they got to break over one of our heads. And so, we weren't expecting the 3 minutes. I mean, come on, that's $100. Raising $100 is not terrible difficult, but I mean, it's not, it took about 7 minutes and we had the $100. So we're sitting there going, well, damn, damn. we keep telling people about it. We try to get people there. We do our stuff, and the night comes, and it was a little brisk that night. It wasn't a hot night. But the night came, and we had Logan Rainia's daughter, and myself all lined up because, Lisa and the man who will remain nameless, Dad, chickened out. So there were only 4 of us. Dad. But we changed the rules of the game, and we brought in 3 cases of eggs. And it was $1 an egg. Now, if I would have known how much eggs were going to cost in the future, I would have sold the eggs, and this family would have become millionaires. Just saying. And I wouldn't have been covered in egg gut. But we did. We just opened it up and said, you know what? Take, give us $1, grab an egg, and go. And we got started. And what seemed like, oh my God, it seemed like we were sitting there for at least an hour. At least an hour. Okay, just being pelted. And I thought it was so funny because it was a Friday night. So you guys know I celebrate Friday wearing red. I had my beard going and everything. Hair was a little bit longer at that point in time. I looked like Santa Claus, and I am going to tell you, I'm a big fat guy wearing a lot of red. There were some pissed off kids at Santa Claus because there were a lot of kids throwing eggs at me. And kids don't get the concept of breaking an egg over your head. Okay? No. They take those eggs and they throw them at you. And they hit you in places that it hurts. And there were a lot of these kids. There were a lot of them. They were hitting me. So, but it did. It seemed like we were there for hours. And I mean, I had egg gut folks from head to toe. I won't be graphic there, but head to toe. Inside your nostril, in your mouth, in your ears, and oh God, things being in my ears just it bugs me. But seriously, from head to toe. And we got done. And I went over, sat down, kind of tried to wipe things away, and then met up with the people that we were going to give the money to. Now, the people we were going to give the money to, we ended up meeting through the uncle. But this was a family who had just lost their daughter to leukemia. And the dad walked up to me, up to Logan and I. And somewhere on Facebook, there's the picture comes up every once in a while, still to this day. And you can see Logan and I, we're all spiked out, and I'm wearing a shirt that's like 2 sizes too big. You know, I look like the Pillsbury Doughboy because I got the fat rolling out everywhere. Dad had a shirt because, you know, he wasn't in an egg contest, Dad. But he had an extra shirt, so I ended up wearing it. And we took that night and we raised $789 for that family. $789 isn't it's nothing compared to the loss of a child. There are people who are out there who put together dinners where it's $789 a plate. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to talk about we changed their lives forever, because, we didn't financially. But that dad did come up to myself and Logan and myself, sorry, when we handed him the money. And we were kind of walking away. We shook his hand and we were walking away, gave him a hug. And all of a sudden I felt a hand around my arm and I got pulled back, and I'm kind of a big guy. For somebody to be able to do that, they're a bigger guy. And all of a sudden I had this guy's arms around me, both arms, giving me a big ass bear hug. Again, he's squeezing me. Egg is coming out of every orifice of my body. I'm just coming from everywhere. And then all of a sudden the hug stopped and he kind of pushed me back a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay. And he looked at me and he goes, why? Why the F did you do this? You don't even know me. I like to think that right there was the birth of the storytelling. Why? Why did you do this? You don't even know me. Look, I quickly turned around and didn't give it a thought. It was just the first thing that came out of my mouth on that day. And it was very simple. I said, you know what? I don't need to know you to care. I just need to know that you need help. That's the reason why we need your stories. People are in different situations. People find themselves in difficult times. People find themselves in situations that they just don't understand. There is no such thing as good timing of a bad situation. Yeah, there's times in life where it's a little, well, at least it happened when, at least my tires blew out when I got the tax check. Because every damn car in the world sees that you get, a tax check of $500 and it's got to break down for $800. Freaking cars. But there's never a good time for a bad situation. And one of the things I like to tell people is, you know what, if you sit there and you find yourself in a bad situation, your first instinct is always going to be, I'll get through this. We're fine. Before you do that, really take a look at what could happen. If you would have told me 2 days after the accident that I was never going to be able to go back to my job, I would have told you were full of it. I would have never thought that I couldn't go back to my job. Then again, I walked around for 3 years with a broken neck, so that kind of made things a little more difficult. Not that I'm bitter about that or anything. This accident sucked. It sucked that it happened. It sucked that I've lost contact or even lost some of the people that were there. It sucked that those businesses are no longer around because of a lot of different things. It sucks that somebody took and walked away from me after they came back and they shut the lights off on my bike and left my son's dad in a ditch. I don't, me personally, I don't focus on that too much. If we ever find out who did it, my first question to them would be probably, how's your last 10 years been? And then my only request would be explain to my sons why you left their father there to die. It was August 14th. The animals were starting to come out of the mountains a little bit. It was getting cooler at night. But it was wonderful because I saw a community come together for us. For me. I saw what people who didn't generally get along all that much, what they could do together if they just put things aside for a while. I saw what we could do as a community for somebody who was hurting. I saw how important people were, people being there for us, for other people. And I also saw how hard it was to survive, going from making a decent living, yet still below poverty level, but, to where I was making nothing. I saw where we had to struggle because I was told that we did not get food benefits because I made too much money the previous year. I saw myself get angry. I saw things get difficult. And I knew that if we could find a way as a community to come together, we could make a difference for a lot of people. Today, of sorts, it is a birthday for me because this is a day that, 10 years ago, I'm not sure if I was supposed to, I don't know if it was my hard head that saved my life. I don't know if it was the Lord Almighty or if it was just, I didn't hit it in the right spot, so I was okay. Anything could have happened. Anything. I know that I make for damn sure that people know that if I'm going to go camping, that they know where I'm going to go camping. So if I'm missing, like if I'm camping on a site where there's a cactus, they know I'm not in the right place. Don't ever camp on a cactus, folks. That hurts. That really does. It's a little bothersome. But the one thing that is very, very ingrained in me now is that what we are doing has the power to be so powerful for everyone, for the small businesses around us, for the nonprofits, for the families in need, for you, for me, for people who want to give back but don't have extra money to do it. Because this is a program that anybody can use. This is a program where our friends, our partners, our family, we have a chance to do something that no one else has done. And that is help everyone. There are too many of you in the family for me to name, and I really don't want to name certain people and not name you all because you all are so important. I do, however, want to thank Les for joining us tonight and starting this show off. I want to welcome in Safely Back Home. Such a wonderful, wonderful program. And a little story about somebody who's escaped from home. And unfortunately, Safely Back Home would not have helped this young lady, but it is something that can really, stick in your mind. Obviously, it was over 10 years ago because I was on my way to work at 2 o'clock in the morning when this happened. But I was on my way to work and I was on Highway 34 on my motorcycle. And all of a sudden, there were a bunch of ambulances in the middle of the highway. And I didn't know what was going on. Unfortunately, it was a young lady who was challenged, and she had gotten out of her apartment and she went to go across the highway and she got hit. And when I started talking to Safely Back Home, I was thinking about that story and I was thinking, this happens way too much. And where again, look, let's be honest. I'm not sure if that program would have saved that young lady's life. But the one thing it could have done is if somebody saw that patch, who saw her and just thought she was some person that was walking across the street, at least it would have identified them as somebody who might need help. We never know. We never know the situations unless we tell those stories. If you would like to tell your story, I invite you to come on to this show and tell your story. You'll see the QR code up in the corner. That is the Be a Guest of the PACT channel. Come on to the PACT channel. Tell us your story. Tell us about your business. Tell us about what you do. Tell us about how you help people and why you're excited to be part of a great community. And then join Community Pay It Forward because, damn it, well, never mind. You should be here, though. We are making a difference. This is year 10 for me doing this crazy stuff. I'll see you right back here for year 11. Actually, I don't think the 14th is on a Wednesday, so I probably won't see you for year 11, but I'll see you around year 11. And next year, with the strong partnerships that we've been forming, with the wonderful people we've got adding to our program, we are going to be where we need to be. But we need you to be here with us. Come on, tell us your story. Let's tell people about you. Let's get you into the program, and let's make a difference for everyone. Because remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please love someone out there, because someone out here loves you. My name is Zach Clayton, President and founder, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the IMpACT channels. Come tell your story on the IMpACT channels. Again, thank you to Safely Back Home. Thank you to my brother, my friend, Les. The man, the myth, the Les. I like his idea on how to get the $1,000. I'm going to put some thought into that. But hey, you know what? Thank you very much for joining us. Please, please, please be careful in everything you do, because you don't know if there's a tomorrow. But you do know people need there to be. And they need you to be there. So make sure you're not doing anything to jeopardize tomorrow. I do love you all. And I thank you for all your support over the last 10 years. And I hope 10 years from now, when we're sitting here and we're talking, we're all in a better place. And we can be in that better place if we all come together. So let's do that, huh? Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, because, folks, we're all we got. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week right here on Community IMpACT. Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good in communities everywhere. We understand that shopping is a necessity, but with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference without spending any extra money. Here's how it works. Please visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, which are trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any of the partners that resonate with you. Click a picture of the receipt or invoice, then pick the mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send the receipt directly to us. After that, all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchases, knowing that you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing the story of those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
Show me the way you wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here